Hey everybody, welcome into Central Georgia Technical College. I'm Luke Winstel. We are set here for the Sophomore Day ceremonies. Now we'll take it down to the floor. Hello and welcome into Macon, Georgia, where Georgia Highlands travels in to Central Georgia Tech, playing host here in their final home game this season. It is sophomore day. We had the ceremony about 10 minutes ago where the 3 sophomores were celebrated for the home team Titans. Folks, this is going to be one heck of a matchup. Georgia Highlands comes in scoring 90 points a game. One of the guys coming off their bench is going to Alabama. That is Langston Wilson, a sophomore, signed to go to Bama. They've got a lot of talent. Highlands wants to play fast, up-tempo. Central wants it to be a half-court game. They are the number 4 defense in terms of points allowed in the entire NJCAA. So we've got a heck of a matchup, offense versus defense here. That's not to say that Central's not a good offensive team, but the defense is what leads the way for this squad. Now we'll look at your starters here for Georgia Highlands. On the ball, Chris Wright, Jarrell Rosser and Jared Rosser, the twins, Felix Gu, and Kyrie Hairston Mitchell. A few sophomores on this Highlands team, pretty balanced. Long 3 on the way, good to begin. Chris Wright drills it from deep, and we are underway with Highlands on the board. That's a good look at how firepowered this offense can be. They can shoot, they can play in transition. They're a long team, and that can bother you defensively if you're not careful, if you're Central. It's a man-to-man look to begin. Mitchell tipped out of bounds. It'll be Highlands ball. It's a quick start for Highlands traveling in. They're coached by J.J. Merritt. I talked to Coach Merritt on the phone this morning. The story of the season for Highlands, it's been a different year, of course, but not just because of COVID. They've had injuries. They've missed a lot of games. They also had one of their players be diagnosed with cancer. So even with COVID, that's made things even more difficult, but the guys have bonded together well and used the adversity to go out to being the first team in conference play. That's an offensive foul on Jarrell Rosser. Central ball. Teams can handle adversity one of a few ways. One of them is to buckle under the pressure. The other one is the way that Highlands has, and they've used it to fuel them out to this run where they are the number 1 team in the GCAA. Highlands ball. Good hands on the defensive side. This is the first time these 2 teams have met this season. They'll play again after this one. There will be a rematch at Highlands. Scott comes off. Montavious Terrell quickly shuffles into the game for Central. Terrell's the guy you bring off the bench when you need offense. Up off the glass from Gu. And Felix Gu has one of the thicker bodies on the team. He'll bang around in the post with Vance Jr. today. So the ball is inbounded to Vance, who's trying to fend off Rosser. It'll be Highlands ball. Now Central here on the defensive side started off, they weren't too particularly happy with especially the communication on that side of the ball. But Coach Dawson has shored that up. The guys have bought into what he's selling, and this defense is, again, top 5 in the country. Rosser goes up strong. He is fouled on the shot attempt. Well, I don't know if you saw what I saw at the end of that play, but as soon as Rosser goes down, his teammates are sprinting over to help him up off the ground. That's the mark of a good team. A lot of coaches will coach that. So when you talk about the coaching battle here, Coach Rico Dawson, the reigning GCAA Coach of the Year on the Central side. J.J. Merritt seems to be an annual candidate with the way that he recruits and develops talent at Highlands. So you're looking at, I don't want to say the 2 best coaches because there's so many that I've talked to and worked with in the GCAA, but definitely 2 of the top 3 or 4 coaches in the league, no doubt about it. These guys just do it year in, year out. You could give them anybody on their roster and they'll be 2 or 3 times better by the end of the season. Pierce trying to work inside. He will be fouled. Central ball. Highlands with Jared Rosser thought that it was going to be a travel call on Pierce. He got tied up on the play. Hickman trying to find Vance Jr. Spin, right hook, won't fall. Mitchell slashing, spinning, posts it up. Gu with an offensive board. Mitchell. Again, Highlands is going to want to play with tempo in transition. They want to get looks quick. Rosser spots up. That'll be Highlands' ball. Correct call, it did go off Central. It's a rare time when this Central team will be outmatched in terms of height, but overall, when you look top to bottom, Georgia Highlands generally will be the taller team today. So with that comes having to keep them off the glass. How is your rebounding, your technical skills and ability in the glass and in the paint going to be for Central? It's going to be huge today. Wave it off, offensive foul. Charge taken by Hickman. Jarrell Rosser picks up his first, and those are the plays you needed to ignite your team. Jalen Hickman has very often on the defensive side, this is why he's the starting point guard for Central, here in that job early. He gets the team started with some kind of major defensive play early, almost every game we see him. Tipped away from Pierce, out of bounds off of right. And that's why you start Jalen Hickman. You can bring guys like Truett Spencer and Montavious Terrell off the bench, but the defense of Hickman's been what separated him. It's going to be hard to get space for your shooters. You're seeing that here early. They wanted Terrell to get that shot in the corner. Look at this defense here from Highlands. We talk about their offense, but this energy that they've come out with is very impressive. Through 3 minutes, they have blanked Central. Defensively, it's all about trying to throw teams off their rhythm. Right now, Central hasn't been able to find one yet. Let's see what Hickman can establish here. Terrell, good find for Vance, up off the window and in. Mark Vance Jr. puts Central on the board. Now checked into the game is Langston Wilson, by the way, number 13 for Highlands, foul called. Wilson's come in off the bench quickly. Good body, player to watch. Osaba and Truett Spencer come in for Vance and Pierce. The starters today for Central have been the same as normal. They found their lineup. Shot goes up from Brown, rebounded Central. But same starters for Central. They found a lineup about midway through the season that works for them, and they've stuck with it. Osaba tries to dump it off to Drame. Spencer takes it away. Now Truett Spencer in the orange shoes here for sophomore day. I love it. 16-foot jumper off the window, doesn't fall. Trip from behind. Hickman didn't mean to make that contact, but the intention doesn't matter on a call like that. Brandon Barron fell. Got hooked by Hickman in transition. Highlands set to inbound, and Errol White has checked in for Central Georgia Tech. White's got about half of the crowd as his family here today. They've traveled in from all over the country. Central ball. Well, Errol White's a guy who can give you a spark in this kind of a moment. Both teams are very deep. They go 8, 9, 10 deep at any given game. Spencer gets trapped and fouled. I think they'll ring up Wright for a push there. Wright comes off. Joel Pullen, the freshman, to check in. Pierce battling on the block. Spencer resetting, gets a pick right. Terrell, dribble drive, pass for Errol White, tipped away, Central ball. Well, there's a lot on the line for these teams today. Georgia Highlands is #1 in the conference, trying to get their 10th conference win, try to get closer to locking up that #1 spot. Central battling for 4th. They're in 5th right now, but if they win out, which is not going to be easy to do, but if they win out, they can be 4th if they get a little help. Terrell. Osaba going back up with it, right hook deflected away. Wilson got a piece of that. Terrell, Osaba up strong, blocked away. Wilson met him at the rim. Well, you're seeing the length of Langston Wilson. He stands about 6'9". Got close to a 7-foot wingspan. Pierce, right side. Osaba directing traffic from the low post. Trying to create for Pierce. Under 10 on the shot clock. Spencer's got to figure something out here. White up strong, in and out. Osaba, offensive rebound. He will head to the stripe. Getting to the free throw line has been a point of emphasis for Central Georgia Tech. On the offensive side, they've not been getting to the line enough. Coach Dawson specifically pointed out to me before the game that's something that he's really looking for out of his guys on that side of the ball today. Especially early on, when you send somebody to the free throw line, it can help them get in a bit of a rhythm, get their shooting going, give the team a little bit of time to settle into the game. And Central, again, wants this to be a little slower today. They don't want it to be played at Georgia Highlands' pace of getting up and down and sprinting and running and gunning. And you see here, part of that is they're going to press. They're going to try to slow down the Highlands team through a little pressure. Wilson floats it up with the left hand off the window. Good touch. Errol White puts it on the deck, goes up on the right side, misses. Horton. Wilson 13 feet away, dribble, goes up with the left hand. 2-point game, 6 minutes in. Spencer, Terrell, and Pierce, the 3 sophomores, all on the floor for Central. Spencer goes up and sinks it, fading away. Spencer's got a Division II offer. When we get to this point in the season, a lot of guys are getting some big interest, maybe signing with schools. A lot of D1, D2 interest between both these teams. Terrell wrapped up. Spencer wrapped up. Foul against Pullen. Now Central is already in the 1-1 here early. Just the cost of playing such aggressive defense from Highlands. You will foul when you move around the way that they do. Spencer knocking down the first free throw. Truett Spencer for the Central team, sophomore out of Lilburn, Georgia. He's had a huge impact for the Titans this season. Began the season as a starter, then came off the bench when Coach Dawson determined that's where he's most comfortable. But he's been one of the few guys averaging in double figures, 10 points a game. Now Central taking their first lead after the free throws. And this is where that defense begins to show up. When you get Highlands into the half court, you can get comfortable on that defensive side if you're Central. That's where they feel at home. Drame drills a 17-foot J. Now, after a 4-0 run to begin for Highlands, it's been a 10-2 run for Central. That's the way you respond at home. Shot short from Bowles. Good bit of contact there, but Central doing well, defending without fouling. Pierce spins in the mid-post. It was a good attempt, but complicated in transition. Keandre Bowles lofts it up. It's an offensive foul. Central coming up with another stop on the defensive end. Scott comes in for Errol White. Well, Coach Dawson, as a head coach, has always been a defensive guy. He knows that to succeed in this league and in basketball in general, you've got to recruit players that can defend, and then you've got to coach them into a defensive scheme. And that is what he does well. It's his forte, and you're seeing it show up in maybe the biggest game of the year for Central. Terrell almost got the scoop layup. He gets his own rebound. He barely reestablished himself in bounds to be legal to make that play. Spencer using a pick. Good switch from Rosser. 5 on the shot clock. Spencer takes it himself. Drame puts it up and in. As the shot clock was expiring, Drame making a last-ditch effort. It's a 12-2 run. Well, folks, this is March basketball for you. Good crowd, too. One of our best crowds here at Central all year. Deep three. Terrell trying to take it himself, got stopped up by Highlands. Rosser, nice find, foul called. Bowles heading to the stripe. Rosser on the wing, saw it, no hesitation, swung the pass in there, and Bowles caught the Central defense off guard. Keandre Bowles is a bench player. He's got some big schools looking into him in terms of recruiting. He can score it well. That's his forte. He originally transferred in from Barton Community College in Kansas. And when I say he's a scorer, at Barton Community College, he was playing about 19, 20 minutes a game. He was scoring about 15 a game on average. Some big numbers for these guys, and it's led them to Georgia Highlands and Central Georgia Tech, two of the best programs and one of the best leagues in the GCAA and the NJCAA. But all year long, when you look at the NJCAA rankings, you're seeing these numbers. And early on, Central Georgia Tech was the top 25 team in the poll nationally. Big time Hail Mary pass. Osaba thought about finding Scott. That would have been an easy layup if he passed it. He may want that one back. Pierce goes up with it, flailing and rebounded by Highlands. Bowles, reverse layup, smooth like butter. Now you've got a run from Highlands, 4-0 run. Pierce, Osaba. Spencer, Pierce, thought about it from the corner. Spencer, step back, three. Bang! Spencer knocks it down. Jewett Spencer for three. It's a 5-point lead. It's in the hands of Highlands number 24, not listed on their roster today. Brown tries to go up on a second attempt. Official comes from the near side with a call. Rosser comes in. It'll be Highlands ball. Midway through the first half of play, trying to inbound to Rosser, taken away. Central read that like a book. It is ripped out of the hands of Terrell in transition. Stepping into a three, Highlands won't sink it. Terrell heads up play, Central ball. If you're falling out of bounds like that, you can't find your teammate maybe, but you can throw it off your opposing team's player, and Bowles will check right back into the game. The Chargers pressing Central. This is one of the ways that they're going to try to get Central to have to be more up-tempo on the offensive side. They want to get Central to rush a little bit. Scott bouncing in the lane, foul called. That was a good move from Scott, the jump stop, hopping to the right side. Just a little off on the finish, but his arm got knocked. Scott at the stripe, one of those freshmen that you look at this season for Central. You say, okay, he's come a really long way, especially if he stays a second year. What could his potential be? The way that he scores at the wing, inside, outside, but especially inside. He'll get to the free throw line pretty well. He can slash it. He's shiftier than you may think when you give him the eye test and look at his frame. You have to be proud of the way he's come as a freshman. Now look at that move to the rim by Wright. He just beat the whole Central defense, put him in quicksand. Pierce, left side, finger roll for two. Wright gets a pick, three-pointer. Trying to go on a little bit of a run of his own there. Scott, look at this move to the rim. Scott with the bucket. Well, Scott doing exactly what Wright did on the other end, just slicing right through that defense. Rosser, three-pointer. Scott dashing in transition. Pierce, lane, left side. It'll bounce in. Dominic Pierce, the sophomore, forces a timeout to be called. Highlands trying to stop the momentum of a Central team that has responded to yet another Chargers run. 21-12 our score. More action coming around the corner in the GCAA. You're watching junior college basketball. Highlands ball. Rosser pumps and a foul called. Now the Rosser twins, you've got Jared and Jarrell. Now at the line is going to be Jarrell. He wears number 2. Jared's number 0. They have been a big deal in Georgia basketball since probably 2016 or 2017, as far as I can think back. When I first started covering Georgia high school in 2015, they were beginning to come on the scene. They transferred to Gainesville for their final year, if I remember correctly. Had 1 year of high school eligibility at Gainesville, finished out there. Super long guys, big college prospects coming out. They were a tough team for anybody to deal with, I think out of Georgia Class 6A at the time. And they've been working their way through the ranks of college basketball here at the JUCO level. And they've got potential to go at minimum D2. They're both averaging close to double figures in points a game. Jarrell, I believe, in double figures, and Jared, I think, averages about 7. Spencer for Spencer substitution. Truett Spencer's going to head off to the locker room. His brother Justin's in the game. Justin, his freshman brother. It's been noted that Justin's got a bit of a football player build. He can bang around a little bit, especially given his size on the wing. Pierce spots up. Osaba fighting hard for it, but unable to track it down. This Highlands team can score it like nobody else in college basketball at the JUCO level. Wraparound pass, blocked. It was hit into the rim, it looked like, and we've got a foul called. Pushing foul on Gu. They can score it unlike anybody else. You've got this Highlands team averaging 90 a game, but they're held here to 13 points. Right now, good defense getting the better side of good offense, but you gotta know that when you look at Highlands coach J.J. Merritt, they're gonna be making adjustments throughout this game. They're gonna find a way to make some runs at this Central team. They're too talented not to. But right now for Central, it's important to capitalize while you've got the advantage. Your defense is getting stops. You've gotta hit your free throws here if you're Justin Spencer. Spencer's not gotten a ton of playing time this year. Not as much nearly as his brother Truett, who's now come out of the locker room. Looks to be all right. Barron, right side, won't go. Well, Central on the defensive boards has been good. Scott for 3. Now looped way up to Barron in transition, easy 2. And again, Highlands can get those quick points off you on those 5-6 second possessions, just finding an outlet, moving down the floor. They've been off their game today in that respect. It's one of the few baskets they've had in transition. Pierce working hard. He will be called for a travel. Trying to show the referee he took 1-2 and went up. I think he took a 1-2-3. So that'll be Highlands ball. Again, it's all about that gather step. Is that part of it or not? In the NBA, it seems like you get a gather step, but elsewhere, college ball, you don't get that extra half step or third step. But otherwise, the move to the rim was a good showcase of strength from Pierce. Rosser and Drame going at it. They're two guys, as you look at them side by side, their frames are not very different. There's some of those intriguing players that you see at the junior college level. Guys, you say, okay, maybe a small forward type. If they can score it really well, all of a sudden they're absolutely tantalizing prospects for you. Both of those guys already can defend pretty decently. Bowles got chopped there. Or no, Pierce actually committed the foul. Again, it was off the ball. So Scott comes in. For Pierce, that's his second foul, so that may limit his playing time as we go down the stretch in the first half. Tipped right into the hands of Horton. Errol White, bounce pass, Drame up strong, can't connect. Barron, outside, corner 3, Horton, can't get it. Spencer handling the ball. This is a good opportunity for him to showcase his skill set. Scott turns it over. Bowles Foul called. Terrell got him in transition. Errol White was backtracking to try to make a monster pin off the glass. Now Terrell picking up his second foul. Again, same situation as Pierce. Got a timeout called from Coach Rico Dawson. It's now a 4-point game, trying to settle down his Central team, as I believe it is a 5-0 run for Highlands. More coverage of all the action coming up next here on the Titans Broadcast Network. Highlands with Bowles at the charity stripe. 4-point game, 6 minutes to play. Thank you all for tuning in. Missing the front end. Now a look at some of the numbers for you. Central today is 8 of 24 from the field. That's about 33% shooting. Not where you want to be, but Highlands only 6 of 21. They're shooting about 28% from the field, and that's not going to cut it. Central's also got 6 turnovers too, but still a lead. They're -4 in turnover margin. It swings around. Spencer to Spencer. 3-pointer made and a foul. We got a shot at a 4-point play. The brothers connecting. Spencer, 3-pointer, now at the free throw line. Justin Spencer with the assist. His brother Truett making the shot. Might be the first time we've seen that for a 3-pointer all season long. That's a cool connection. We got a 4-point play. First time we've seen that from Central in a home game this season, I believe. Substitution as Mitchell comes in, but again, we're glad you all can join us and have joined us throughout the season, as this might end up being our final men's basketball broadcast. We'll see how everything shakes out, of course. If Central hosts a playoff game, we might have that one for you. That being a conference tournament game. Ball's on the deck. Looped into Wilson. Good ball movement. Still hard to find an opening. Wright lofts it up. 4 on the shot clock. Wilson tip out. Rebound. Wright and a foul called. Drame's holding his knee. He is able to get up. Well, down low, you get a look at the impact of Langston Wilson. Had a couple of tip out rebounds, just using the length. Again, about 6'9". Now we've got Wright at the stripe. He played for the Highlands team a couple of years ago. They made it to the title game and lost to Central that year. So he's got a little history against this team. You know what you're going to get from Wright all the time, too. White goes up. Foul called. Highlands ball. Let's see who they charge that one to. Vance Jr. called for the foul. Now both teams are in the 1-and-1 at least. That'll put Barron at the free throw line. Barron's a bench player for Highlands. They feel like all 12 guys on their team are talented enough to start. It's all about who's hot. Coach Merritt's going to put out the 5 best players on the floor, the guys who have been playing best lately. He really tends to go with the hot hand when you look at his coaching style and strategy. Free throws made. There's a lot of different guys as a result of that have gotten starts at various points. It also checks your ego a bit when there's no permanent starters. Your job's always on the line, and sometimes guys will take it from you. Spencer open for a 3. Back iron. Wilson with a rebound. That's where Wilson is hurting you most when he's in the game, is just on the boards. Vance has got to deal with him here. He's got to be physical. Vance and Scott with help defense on the play. A little too physical as a foul is called. 2 shots coming. Scott's whistled for that foul. 2 shots, of course, not because of shooting foul, but because we're in the bonus, double bonus. Wilson unable to sink the first free throw. Well, for Central, you've got to be happy at this point in the game. You haven't necessarily had it your way the whole time, but you've played the game more your style than Highlands. You've dictated the tempo. You've dictated the style of play to this point. You've kept it low scoring, mostly in the half court. Vance Jr. met at the rim by Wilson. Well, there's a look at the rim protection that'll make things a little harder on Mark Vance Jr.'s life today. Blocking foul called. Truett Spencer almost took an offensive foul, and you'd have to think that when these coaches, especially the Division II ones that are so hotly after him right now, are looking at Truett Spencer, you say, okay, he can shoot the ball. He can do a lot of things that other guards can, but some of the things that Truett Spencer is known for make him special. Whether he is successful in taking the offensive foul or not, as the free throw goes in for Wright, Truett Spencer is almost always putting himself in position, especially in transition, to do what's asked of him. Take those offensive fouls. He's a very coachable player, somebody that Coach Rico Dawson has worked with for 2 years now. Truett Spencer stepped up as a leader of the team. They've needed him a lot in that both vocal and non-vocal role at different times. Now it's a 2-point game, so Spencer and Spencer have got to rally their troops. And Central trying to get back going again before the half. Spencer floats it up in the mid-post. Shot was off the mark. Neither team shooting at a very high percentage today. Testament to the defense being played in this first half struggle. Errol White almost got away with a swipe on that play. It looked clean from where we are up top here. But the referee thinks that Errol White got a piece of Barron, who's now at the free throw line again. In and out on the opening free throw. Terrell comes back in for Central. Again, with a couple of guys with 2 fouls, it's been a little interesting in terms of personnel closing in for the past 4 minutes. Terrell on the ball. He's been quiet today. Not often he's quiet, especially at home. Loves playing in this arena. Cross-court pass. Terrell pockets it. Pick from White. Spencer, 3-pointer. Vance Jr. offensive board. Floater strong. Wilson pulls it away, gets tied up, and we've got Scott whistled for another foul. Scott was fighting in from behind. Now that's 3 fouls on your freshman. Especially with the way Scott's been playing, not a good sign. Osaba and Pierce are set to check in. This could be a game we've had, again, you look at the scoreboard in the bottom left of your screen, you've got both teams in the double bonus. You're setting up for a second half where you could have foul trouble really come into play in this game. You generally won't have both teams in the double bonus through 15, 16, 17 minutes of play total. But we do in this one. It's been a chippy game, slow game. That favors Central, but doesn't mean it's going to be easy, especially when fouls get involved. 25 all. We've had Central go on some huge runs, but Highlands has been responding slowly but surely. White, a power dribble, going up and sinking it over Wilson. The crowd goes wild. Again, Errol's entire family pretty much is here. Floater coming from Pullen. Especially in the past 10 minutes, every time Central strikes, Highlands has had a response. They have been better since they've made a few substitutions lately. Look at Terrell, magician on the ball. Pierce, Spencer, Errol White. Terrell dumps it off. Osaba fouled on his way up. That one goes against Horton. White's at the stripe for 2. Or I'm sorry, Osaba's at the stripe for 2. Shalom Osaba, originally from Lagos, Nigeria. One of a few international guys that Central has brought in. Now, Osaba played in the States for a little bit before coming to Central. This one goes up, and no good on both free throws. We remain tied. Osaba's been developing his shooting game a little better, but those free throws don't show you that necessarily. Highlands in the corner. Barron, Wilson, and a jam. Wilson looking good on that possession. Showcasing a little bit of power. Sometimes you see guys with longer, stringier bodies and you don't see the kind of power that they can show like that. Errol White passing, Osaba with a jam. Oh, look at that. Central, Terrell back up, and it's a 4-point run. The Titans heating up. Well, how about Shalom Osaba bringing the roof down with a dunk? Coming down the floor saying, how do you like me now? Well, that foul will bring Pullen to the free throw line. And then, of course, Terrell with a steal right after Osaba's dunk, and all of a sudden we've got some momentum here, just shifting, and crowds on their feet. Here's Pullen. Oh, he points to the crowd. This is where things get fun. Again, in Central, the crowd is, again, everybody's real close to the floor. They're within 10 yards of the sideline, basically. And they're all under the camera, so you can't really see who all is here. But, again, it's a good crowd. These are fun games to call. Travel called on Errol White. 31 all. So Wilson inbounds. He dunked it on one end. Osaba came back and threw down a dunk even harder on the other end. And now they're going to match up in the half court. Mitchell, Wilson, spots up. Oh, look at that. Shushing the crowd. The Alabama signee knocking it down from outside. Goodness, this is a fun game. A foul's called. 34-31. Wilson hit it for the lead. Now Pierce is going to be at the line. Trying to pull Central closer here as we pull into halftime. 34-32. Now the Titans getting ready to match up in the half court. Both free throws made by the sophomore. All three sophomores have some family in the crowd today. Sophomore day here in Macon, Georgia. Pullen, Wilson again. Shot clock turned off. And here we go. The floor is pretty spread out. Spencer, 5 seconds to work with. Bounce down, Osaba misses a bunny. At the buzzer, chucked up and wide. Halftime score, 34-33. Could not have been more entertaining, I'll tell you that. Highlands leads by 1, Central playing at home. More coverage coming up after halftime here on the Titans Broadcast Network. I'm Luke Winstall. Thank you all for tuning in. We are back for the second half of action. Central and Georgia Highlands going at it. Coach Rico Dawson, Central head coach, hyping up his team there. You saw them huddled up around him. He knows what's on the line here. Central's trying to get a 4 seed so they can have a home conference tournament game. That will mean the world for this program. Trying to host. It's really going to show how much they've battled back this season if they're able to pull that off. Vance Jr. goes up over Rosser and immediately gets a bucket to begin the half. Tipped away, Hickman again with a nice defensive play. In transition, goes up. Drame trapped underneath. But there's Jalen Hickman. He'll often start games and now starting a half off with a defensive play to help propel his team. 5 on the shot clock. Pierce, step back. He left it short. Got a wraparound foul down low. It'll be Central ball. That's what I thought. Highlands was lining up like they thought it was them, but it was Goo that wrapped around. You saw the official indicate that he slid his arm behind his back trying to trap. Kept Drame from making that play. So it'll be Central ball. Vance inside, spots, and leaves it short. Well, your numbers in the first half, again, neither team is going to blow your doors off in terms of shooting here. They're both under 38% on the day. Foul called on Rosser's drive to the rim. That'll be Drame, rung up for it. And neither team shooting above 22% from 3. They're combined 4 of 19. 4 of 19 from 3. However, Georgia Highlands has kept in this game hard because they've played clean. Only 2 turnovers. The foul numbers between the teams are similar, about 13 each. But Central's got 8 turnovers, which is not a bad half, but not competing with Highland in that margin. Where things are different is paint points, Central with a 20-14 advantage. Bench points, Georgia Highlands leads 23-19. But otherwise, the rebound margin is dead even, 22 apiece, as Rosser is fouled on his way up to the rim. Jared Rosser, the sophomore. These guys, Jared and Jarrell, playing at Highlands, are a twin duo. And when you have those guys, you list them as a wing. You'll play them on the wing. So you put someone like Felix Gu up top. You have a couple of guards. And when you have those two in at the wing spot at the same time like they do in this lineup, that length is going to be near impossible to compete with because you've got about 6'7", 6'7", whatever your center is, maybe a 6'8" guy or 6'7" again. And most teams will not be able to compete with that until you get up to a Division I level. And even there, that can be a good bit of length depending on what team you've got. And when you look at junior college teams like this in the NJCAA, there's so much raw potential. These guys will develop throughout their years in the GCAA. And you've seen that with the rosters. They've gotten much better, more polished in terms of scoring and finishing at the rim. It's been maybe the most notable thing for them. Terrell drives, swings it out to Drame. 4 on the shot clock. Drame trying to make something happen. Drame has been shut down today. Rosser outside, Mitchell. Right, a spin. Oh, almost got the roll. Offensive foul. Central ball. Called against Rosser. Jared picking up his 3rd. That comes quickly, so he may need to see a little bench time here if Coach Morit is trying to keep him out of foul trouble in the second half. Especially on a press. It's pretty tough for Hickman to get out of these situations when you've got Highlands playing the way they do. It's just a lot of energy because they'll cycle through guys. As soon as their first 5 get tired, they've got 5 more that are just as talented. They bring them right in. That's what's made them the #1 team. As Pierce lays it in. Now Central is the number 4 defensive team in the country. So that is why they're competing so hard today. Foul called. Rosser at the stripe for a couple. Errol White said to check in. And so is Shalom Osaba for Central. Rosser at the line. So you've got Highlands, the number 1 team in the conference, against Central, the number 5 at the moment team in the conference, trying to push for number 4. A top 25 offense in the country, and Highlands a top 5 defense in the country, and Central. This is the matchup on a Saturday that you look for at this collegiate junior college level. Rosser off the iron. Errol White trying to find Hickman outside. White pumping. A decent look for the New Yorker in the lane. Rosser coming the other way. Offensive foul. Pierce took a charge. Well, that is probably the best way to defend a team like Georgia Highlands that will crash downhill in transition. It's hard to make a defensive strategy out of offensive fouls and drawing those, but that has been one of the roots at the core of this game plan for Central. It's been working well. They're setting up. They've got good technique, just getting right outside the restricted area and making it an easy call for the officiating crew. They've been more successful than not on those plays. Hickman. Yeah, and you see Terrell, you've got to defend him at any point on the floor. Hickman loads it up. Osaba got clipped a little bit, but not enough contact for a foul. Here's Montavious Terrell, a double-digit scorer for Central. Put up an 18-point game at home a little while ago. A few weeks ago, he can score in bunches when his team needs him to. Pierce goes up strong, and a foul is called. Dominic Pierce headed to the stripe, sophomore from Cincinnati, Ohio. It's been a huge asset for the Titans this season. He's not always a guy that we talk about scoring like Terrell, 15, 20 points a game at times, but he's been an asset as he's one of the team's top rebounders. He's often been the leading rebounder. Gets 6 a game, 3 assists per game. He's top 2 on the team in assists, and 8 points to go along with it. He could be a double-double threat when he's on. But his best game was against Gordon State, had 13 points, 8 rebounds. He's got a lot of interest from some D2s, NAIA schools. Also a couple of D1s have called to check in on Dominic Pierce, according to head coach Rico Dawson. But a lot of D2 and NAIA interest for him as he sinks a free throw to make it 39-38. A 1-point game here in Macon. Wilson sets a pick, trying to go pick and roll with Barron. Wilson, one dribble, goes up using the length, and a foul's called. 2 free throws coming for Wilson. Wilson's got a really cool story when you look, or one of the more interesting stories, I should say, in junior college basketball. He did not play at all in high school. And the tough part for him, he was diagnosed with Marfan syndrome, so held out of participation until he was cleared in 2019, signed with Georgia Highlands. He averaged 10.7 rebounds in his first season. Then on the Junior College Summer Showcase, he lit it up, got 37 offers. And then he recently has decided he's going to be playing at Alabama. He is leading the Highlands team in scoring today with 11 points. Their only guy in double figures at the moment. Timeout called. They lead 40-39. We'll be back with more coverage after the break here on the Titan Broadcast Network. Highlands and Central going at it here live on YouTube in Macon, Georgia. For Central, the ball will come into the hands of Truett Spencer. He is the leading scorer, tied for leading everybody, but he's got 11. He turns it over. Wright jams it in transition. Coming out of a timeout, that is the type of play that Highlands needs to get going. Wright can do it to you just like Hickman, a guard that can sometimes be known as a defense first player. Pierce for three. He's trying to answer. It's tipped out of bounds. Highlands will possess. Well, for Central on the offensive side, the only thing or the main thing that you could look for to improve is shooting. If you can get going from the perimeter, you might be able to pull away. Pierce is going to get out and hold it back. Pierce dashing in the lane, goes up, right side, left hand, unable to connect. Barron bumped and fouled. Brandon Barron, a guard off the bench. He has gotten quite a bit of time today. We mentioned earlier that Highlands likes to go with the hot hand. They'll inbound here. And Barron's been a hot hand, whether he's been scoring himself or setting up his teammates, which I think he's done even better than scoring today. Barron's got a couple of assists to go with 5 points. One of their better guards. Wright looking for Barron, nearly tipped away. Barron, deep three. Yes, sir. Barron knocks it down. Now we're seeing Highlands try to extend one of their few leads they've had this game. Had, I believe, 5 lead changes total. That one extends the lead. Pierce, wave it off. Got a foul called. Bowles whistled for that one. Pierce has been aggressive today. I'll tell you, he does not always play as aggressive as he's been in this game. He is taking it to Highlands. He has been successful with it. Set up some teammates as well. Dished off. Osaba with a one-hand throwdown. Shalom Osaba putting together a dunk reel today. His right scores around him on the left side. Shalom Osaba, could that be a spark that Central needs to try to get another lead change in this game? Errol White going one-on-one, spin, he will touch it in. We saw Rosser trying to take that foul hard as Errol White banged into him down low. That ball maybe tipped away down low. There's no foul, although plenty of contact between Osaba and Wright. Terrell, White. He is trying to go on a scoring run of his own as he misses the first, misses the second. He'll get another chance at it. Errol White with a couple of offensive rebounds and a bucket. 47-45 our score. Whistle blown, timeout called. There is Errol White igniting his family in the crowd. Central loving what they're seeing here, trying to come back. 13:37 to go in the half. More content coming here on the Titans Broadcast Network. Well, this has been the most exciting game of the season for the Central men's team. Good crowd, big-time opponent, trying to knock off the #1 team in the conference, and Central for the past 3 years has been the conference champs. They've been the top dogs, but this year in the regular season, they will not be. But they're trying to knock off the man to be the man, per se. Bowles from the corner, in and out. Osaba, Hickman open. Hickman knew as soon as he took that one. Osaba saved it, central ball. But Hickman knew as soon as he took that three, it wasn't gonna look good, but the team able to recover on the offensive side, get the board. The freshman point guard looking to inbound. Central's got 9 freshmen on this team, a lot of turnover. Not turnovers, but turnover in terms of a lot of new pieces coming in that took Coach Dawson a little time to put together, but now his teams always seem to get better throughout the year. Terrell. That would have been something else if he'd sink that one, but he's done it before this season. Wilson banging around on the block. Osaba, Terrell, corner. Yes, sir! Montavious Terrell gives Central a lead. The Titans pumped up about that three. Barron deep, trying to answer. Air ball chants echoing from the crowd. Rosser and Wilson switch places. Barron will exit. Now, number 24 for the Chargers. We don't have a name for him, but he is in. Hickman, a drive to the rack. Now Central is on a 9-0 run. That is Jalen Hickman's first 2 points of the game, by the way. Bowles step over, won't drain it. Foul called, it'll stay here. I will tell you, there is one thing I'm surprised about for Highlands. I was not aware of the situation, but Kaheem Brown is on the bench. He is one of their best scorers. They're top in points per game, getting 16 a game. I was watching him in warm-ups, and I'm like, okay, this guy's different, but I don't believe he's played today. Rosser, a good touch, Jay. Brown has played. He's shot once, but barely gotten any minutes. I'm very surprised as to why that may be for Highlands. He does not appear to be injured. As I look at that situation, I'm not sure why they wouldn't have him in. So for those of you wondering about that may know the game of Brown, I'm not sure why he hasn't seen more time. It comes into Hickman. Hickman drives off a pump fake. White goes up strong. He's fouled. Errol White now at the line to shoot a couple. 1 point game, 50-49. White off on the first. Free throws will be crucial down the stretch White is third on the team in scoring today, 3 for 5 from the field. He's got 6 points for Central, tied with Osaba. Missing both free throws, and here comes Highlands. Bowles catches. Wow, trying to be crafty with the moves, and a foul called on Terrell. That's going to be a couple of shots. Terrell thinks that Bowles just fell over without much contact. And Bowles might have sold it a little bit. He is a shifty player. Again, to just be attempting that kind of a move on the outside, I think tells you a lot about him and his game. It's nothing that he can't do as he makes the first free throw. When you catch in the corner like that, you're battling one-on-one, almost Kevin Durant style, trying to find a spot to high point, shoot that mid-range. Bulls hitting both at the stripe. Now we've got another lead change with the Chargers going up ahead. Justin Spencer comes in to give Montavious Terrell a rest, as Terrell has now picked up his 4th foul. And Terrell's not been in foul trouble much, if at all, this season. But he's 1 away from fouling out with a quarter of the game to play. No look pass to White, tipped into Drame. He goes up, and the player from Senegal puts Central back up ahead. Drame fighting all the way across the floor. Impressive to get on Bowles. Baseline drive, and a foul is called. Well, that's going to be Drame's 3rd. For Central, you've got Truett Spencer and Montavious Terrell both having 4 fouls. Isaiah Scott's got 3. Dominic Pierce has 3. Almany Drame's got 3. You just got to battle here if you're Central. And that was a point on the defensive side in the season where it was a point for this Titans team to focus on defending without fouling, because it was limiting them offensively with some of their better shooters having been in foul trouble. First free throw missed by Bowles. Substitution. Scott comes back in for the first time in a while, replacing Errol White. For Central, some of the players a little deeper on their bench are going to have to step up. Spencer looking to inbound. Blocking foul. That'll go against Horton. Now Hickman to shoot. When you look in terms of foul trouble on the other side of the floor at Georgia Highlands, they've got a couple of guys with 3, including Keandre Bowles and Felix Gu. Part of why Gu has not played a ton yet here in the second half is Hickman hits the shot. Here he is. There's Brown. Kaheem Brown is one of the guys that Coach Dawson told me that Central is going to have to really focus on shutting down. He can score anywhere on the floor. He's about a 40% three-point shooter as well, so you got to identify in these situations to make sure he does not get open shots off. Rosser and Drame going at it. Reverse attempt, and Scott pulls it away. Hickman, 15 feet, stops, pops, and hits a J. Well, this one's going to be tight to the end, I can tell you that. Pullen pulls back. It's been more of a defensive battle favoring Central. It's been a good bit of scoring here early in the second half. Teams both shooting much better, as we would have expected coming in. Rosser, 5 on the shot clock, going up with it. That's a prayer of a shot that fell from Rosser. He just heaved that up trying to get a contact foul called. Scott. Drame, a drive. Jalen Hickman, under 10. Scott for three. Yeah, you might have heard Coach Dawson yell at Drame there. He's got to be careful about an over the back on a rebound. You can't have him go to 4 fouls. Truett Spencer's about to come back in and play with 4. Shalom Osaba's ready to check in for Central. Brown sets a pick. Three-pointer on the way. Bricks off. Hickman, Pierce, wide open, right half of the floor, blocked away by Rosser. Spencer having trouble with the handle. Hickman trying to create some offense. Fouled. Rosser rung up there. Langston Wilson and Chris Wright, the 2 top scorers for Highlands, are ready to come off the bench here. They've both got 11. The 2 players in double figures for Highlands. Central's got a couple in doubles as well. Hickman off on the first free throw. We are nearing double bonus territory for both teams, by the way. Few subs for the Chargers. Truett Spencer has not come in yet. He will be subbing in for Jalen Hickman after the free throw. Let's see what Highlands can conjure up here. We've been talking with Coach Moore a good bit in between those free throws. Wilson goes up, blocked by Osaba. Justin Spencer. Scott goes up, wave it off, offensive foul. Charge taken by Wright. That'll be the first foul on Justin Spencer. Truett Spencer comes in. You've got to put your best players in the game at this point, of course, but also understanding that Truett cannot pick up a foul. He's your leading scorer today. One of your 3 sophomores on sophomore day here in Macon. Wilson. Brown, a dribble, blocked by Osaba, kept in bounds by Pierce. It's always impressive when you can swat a shot away and keep it in. You retain possession. Spencer, step back. That would have gone as a long 2 had he made it. The Chargers possess. Here's Terrell coming in for Spencer. So now you've got Terrell and Truett Spencer both playing with 4 fouls here. But that is the way you've got to close out if you're Central. You don't have a choice. Wright, deep 3. Yes, sir. Nothing but net for Wright as he blows a kiss to the Central crowd. Pierce goes up strong with it. Pierce has not been shy to try to create on the offensive side today. I do like this look from him. Brown fouled. Shalom Osaba gets the call on that one. He has been protecting the rim as well as we've seen all season from him. He's got 6 points as well. That'll go as his 2nd foul. Brown at the line. He is a dominating natural scorer headed to Norfolk State. They're looking for him to improve a little bit on the defensive side as he develops, but as far as being a scorer and a passer, there's not many guys who can create for themselves and for others like Brown. The talent for him on the offensive end is undeniably good. Jalen Hickman. I mentioned on Thursday's game he's been a bit of a surprise with how well he has developed throughout this season. Looks like a totally different player as far as I'm concerned. Terrell dumps it off to Osaba. And look at Montavious Terrell creating this offense for Shalom Osaba. He's done that a few times today where he drives in, dishes it off, and then Osaba just comes in and finishes the drill. He's got 8 points now. Bowles, quick bucket. Highlands makes a living off shots like that. Bowles now with 8 points. Hickman, foul. You have to wonder for Central if a little more ball movement would be helpful to them. Right now, Highlands has been using some help defense in the lane to help them out. They do lead by 4. Part of it, too, though, is Central's not shooting too well from three-point range. On the outside today, they are 3 of 16, so that'll put you at 19% from three-point range. First free throw won't go. Scott comes in. Errol White comes in. I'm sorry, Scott comes out. Errol White comes in. Hickman knocks it down. 1 of 2. It's a three-point game. Right. Rosser, foul called. They're going to whistle Osaba. That did not look like any kind of contact that would warrant a foul compared to the way that this game's been called, but they do blow the whistle. Both teams are in the double bonus. That'll send Rosser to the line. Now you've got Shalom Osaba with 3 fouls. But regardless of the personal foul standings, it does give the automatic 2 free throws to Rosser. He's got some good game from this area of the floor. He'll sink the free throw. Now it's a 5-point game. You're talking about multiple possessions as we get under 5 minutes to play. Hickman crosses over, tries to go underneath the basket. A foul's call. No, out of bounds. I thought the referee was holding up his fist for a foul, but there was not really enough contact for that underneath. It's a good call from the officiating crew. Hickman tried to do it himself. It's not bad, but you have to wonder for Central if they move the ball around a little better, if they can create some good shots. Terrell racing into the open floor, a clinical finish with the left hand, and a timeout called by Coach Dawson in a 3-point game. 4:22 to go in this one. The home team trails here on the Titan Broadcast Network. You are watching junior college basketball. Central Georgia Technical College, down 3 at home here on sophomore day. If Central wins out, including winning this game against Georgia Highlands, they can put themselves in a position to, with some help, take the number 4 seed, and that would let them host the conference tournament game. When you look at the standings in the GCAA, Georgia Highlands is at the top, of course, with their pristine 9-2 record. South Georgia Tech behind them, 9-3. South Georgia is 3rd. Albany Tech is 4th right now, and Central 5th. Central dropped some tough games earlier in conference play that they probably wouldn't lose if they played those same opponents today. They've gotten that much better. They had a 4-game conference losing streak to begin, but since they've been 7-3, White blocked the shot, but he's called for a foul. It's been one of the stories of the day today for Central. You almost made a good defensive play, but the referees call a foul, and Highlands is at the line. That's just how tough they are to stop. It is really not easy to stop a team that plays this fast with this many individually talented scorers without fouling them, at least here and there. Brown hits a free throw. Brown's a guy that's just going to get his. When you put him in the game, not many guys can really match up against him. He's going to get some points on the board, but the key is just trying to limit him, make sure he doesn't get into a comfort zone and a rhythm. Here we are in a 5-point game. Brown's hit a few important free throws lately. Now here's Hickman to Terrell. Let's see what Terrell can do as he directs traffic. Central's just looking for someone to step up here late into the game and hop into the spotlight. Terrell, 12 feet, shot goes. Montavious Terrell, the 12-footer, makes it a 3-point game. Got about as smooth a stroke as anybody. He's only 5'10", but the talent he has on the offensive end has been spectacular to watch. Brown, Spencer trying to make sure he doesn't foul. Osaba blocks it away. That's as good of a defensive play as they come. Oh my. Terrell short. That'll be no Highlands ball. I almost said it was Central ball. Our officials today, Zach Mishiak, David Yancey, and Jason Murchison. They have called a good one. I've had a lot of calls to make in this game, but they have called a good one down on the floor. 3:05 and counting to go. Here it is. Brown sinks a tray. Yeah, Brown's about a 40% three-point shooter. I mentioned that when he came into the game, and anytime you give him an inch of space, you might be in trouble. Norfolk State will be happy to have him as Hickman drains it. Good response from the Titans, 68-64. Timeout called by the Titans. We'll be back with more on the Titans Broadcast Network. Full timeout. Central hosting a GCAA conference matchup. It is a 4-point game with 153 seconds to go. Here's Wright dancing and passing to Brown. Brown dishes it off. Rosser can't handle it. Turned over. Rosser pulls it away in transition. Brown. Wright attacks on the left side. Osaba pulls it away. Here's Central running and gunning. Terrell blocked by Rosser. White, Scott, right side, counted and one. Isaiah Scott. Well, there's a look for you at the impact that Errol White makes when he's on the floor. Does a lot of the small things well. When he was in high school in New York, always guarded the opposing team's best player. Was one of the top rebounders in the entire state his senior year. And he set up that play. He pulled it down, kept his composure, and Scott finished. It's a 2-point game, but much better coming out of the full timeout for Central. A lot more energy as Brown lofts it up off the back iron. Offensive board, second chance opportunity. Wright trying to reverse it, no call. Hickman to Terrell. Highlands has brought some people out today. Good to see. Wave it off. Fouls on the floor. Bowles picks it up. 1:17 to play. Bowles with 8 points, 6 of those from the free throw line. He's only hit 1 field goal all day, but he's picked up his 4th foul. Montavious Terrell hit a game-winning shot early on for this Central team as he can't hit the free throw here. And of course, free throws looming large in this one. He had a game winner for Central at the very end of the game in conference play about a month ago. He's been clutch. Truett Spencer's been clutch all season long. Hits this free throw. He splits a pair, so Central still trails by 1. Now the number 4 defense in the country is being put to the test right at the helm. Rosser got away from him. Scott almost pulled it out. Right, 4 on the shot clock. Goes up strong, and a foul's called. That's going to do it for Montavious Terrell. Terrell has fouled out of the game. He immediately comes over to the bench. Truett Spencer's going to come in for him. That'll do it for Terrell on the day. It's a good performance. He got into double figures with 10 points. 4 for 9 from the field, 3 rebounds, 3 assists, but the 5 fouls will call it a day for Montavious. Right at the stripe, hitting 1. This free throw will be a big deal, determining the margin here for Central. Of course, with a 30-second shot clock, barring an offensive rebound, the ball will come back at least one more time to Highlands. Now, we just saw Rosser go up to the locker room. Jared Rosser went to the back. Jarrell stays in the game. Here is Truett Spencer. Spencer blocked in the air and rebounded by Wright. There is a 3-second difference approximately between shot and game clock. Central can likely get another possession. Truett Spencer having to defend Wright. Wright goes up with it. Layup short. It's a 3-point game. One final opportunity. Hickman goes up and a blocking foul. 2 free throws coming for Hickman. It's a double bonus. Well, you got 12.4 seconds left. The shot clock is officially no longer a factor in this game. So that'll be the 4th foul on Rosser. No. 2nd foul on Rosser, it looks like. We've got a timeout called, 12.4 seconds to go. And Central will mull over their strategy here on the offensive side, having to make up a 3-point difference. More action coming. Free throws ahead on the Titan Broadcast Network. You are watching junior college basketball. Well, talking with our cameraman, Sam, by the way, one of the best out there. Thank you, Sam, for an incredible season here. He's been at every single game on the men's side. And we were talking, and he says, man, what are they shooting at the free throw line? And I said, well, Sam, Central is shooting 46% at the free throw line today. And he says, man, that's what's killing us. And I'd say, okay, well, Georgia Highlands is shooting 75% at the free throw line. And then Sam's like, man, that's been the difference today. So Sam Wiggins giving some analysis here. And let's see what Jalen Hickman can do at the free throw line. Hickman, short front rim on the first, and the free throws have been killing Central today. So now you're in a tough situation. Wilson comes in for Highlands. Hickman hits the second free throw. It's a 2-point game. If you're Central, do you foul here? And yes, you do. You foul before any time comes off the clock. Hickman gave Wright a bit of a hug there. Chris Wright to shoot 2. Now your Chris Wright at the line today, 4 for 5 on the season in terms of free throw percentage. He is about a 70% shooter. And Highlands overall, a pretty good free throw shooting a team. When you look at their season numbers, as Wright hits the first. Wright averages 14 points a game. He's over a 50% shooter from the field on the season. He hits both free throws, and now it's a 2-possession game, a little deflating for Central. Hickman against the press. Lofts up a 3, and he drills it. Jalen Hickman hits a tray. All of a sudden, Central's got a little bit of life here as Errol White commits a foul. Well, Hickman with a prayer of a shot, lofting it up a little off balance on the right wing, and it's a 1-point game, 6.6 seconds to go. Now, this is not the guy you want to send to the free throw line. Kaheem Brown. Brown at the line today has yet to miss. He is 4 for 4. It's a pressure situation as Brown has the first one playing off the rim. Central might have an opportunity for some late game heroics here as this game will stay within 1 possession for the final 6 seconds. The Titans will be inbounding against press if this shot is made. And here it is. It's going to be a 2-point game. 71-73, a sub as Brown comes out. Central's got to inbound, and any field goal will tie you up. 6.6 to go. Hickman. Truett Spencer, 3 for the win. Strong. White, a rebound, a putback. Oh, that'll do it. Errol White ties us up. We're going to overtime. Errol White, the hero, as his whole family is in the crowd today against the #1 team in the conference. We got free basketball ahead, everybody. This game has been too much fun. We've got more coverage coming for you. You're watching junior college basketball on YouTube. Oh my gosh, what a game. What a game, everybody. Well, Errol White's family has always been supporting our broadcast, always watching. They're all here today. And there is not a much cooler moment than that. Errol's been one of the top scorers for Central as well. Three-pointer to open the overtime period. Nothing but net for Wright. That's a good start. Again, it's a 5-minute overtime period. Hickman loads it up. Couldn't answer. Osaba goes over for a board. He is fouled on his way to the hoop. We are glad to have you all watching in real time. We have just passed our viewership high of the season. So we thank you all for tuning in. Please be sure to like and subscribe here on the Central YouTube channel. We do broadcast every home game for the men's and women's teams. This is the final one for the men unless they can get a conference tourney game by locking up a 4 seed. Osaba at the line, second free throw off the mark. What a fun journey it's been for Central. These two teams will have a rematch in a couple of days, by the way. Wilson. The shot clock will be under 10. A pick. Barron spots up. He won't nail it as Errol White secures the board. The New Yorker coming on here late in the game. Errol White going to work. Osaba. Offensive foul. They're going to call it on Osaba. Well, now when you go to overtime, now you're really getting into these foul situations. Osaba's got 4 fouls. Montavious Terrell is fouled out. Shuett Spencer's playing with 4 fouls. Errol White's playing with 4 fouls. For Central, that is not exactly music to your ears as Jalen Hickman commits a foul. They're going to call him for a push. So now Jalen Hickman picks up his 3rd. So one guy's fouled out, arguably your best player. And then you've got another guy who's arguably your best player with 4, and then Osaba and White, 2 really good role players with 4. Now right at the line, he has gotten there a good bit today. His 4th trip to the charity stripe as Wilson comes in. Kahim Brown stepped out. Brown hasn't hit a field goal, but he does have 5 points all of free throws. That's not right. He hit a 3-pointer. The stat computer's got it off there. That's just something they'll adjust. 78-74, 3.5 to play in the overtime period. Scott to Osaba. Battling against Wilson, and a foul's called. Wilson gave him a bit of a check there. That's his 2nd foul. Well, Chris Wright, by the way, I keep mentioning his name, and the ball seems to go in pretty much every time he touches it. He's got 23 points, just for those of you keeping track at home. So Chris Wright's our leading scorer among everybody. Jalen Hickman has come on lately. And we mentioned Errol White having that big shot at the end of the game to move us to overtime. That would not have been possible. Central would not have had even a shot without Hickman hitting that off-balance 3 a few seconds before. Hickman comes off. Justin Spencer comes in. So both Truitt and Justin Spencer in the game for Central. Free throw made. Now we've got a 3-point game. 78-75. The free throws are going to be huge here down the stretch. Central's not been a great free throw shooting team this season or today, but they've got to turn it on here in this last couple of minutes. Crossover, Wright tries to dump it off to Rosser. It's on the deck. White picks it up. Here comes Scott. Scott's going to move in, trying to hit a spin move, and we got a foul called on the backside. Scott hits it. Scott got up to such a strong start, didn't get as much playing time as he would have wanted to because of foul trouble. Jared Spencer comes off. Almany Drame is back into the ball game. That's good. Drame helps you contend with the length of the Highlands team that I've talked about early and often today. Highlands has been off to a strong start in the overtime period. Mitchell as Brown sets a pick for him. Brown floats it up and in. Back and forth in the OT. Spencer and Hickman set to check in. They are the top scorers for Central today. Well, the first half was in the 30s. In the second half, much higher scoring. Scott, corner three. White trying to spin. He had a pass out of the post, but tried to go himself. Right, knocked away, no foul. It'll be Highlands ball. Justin Spencer getting back and playing some good defense. Jame comes off. Scott comes off. Well, the number 4 defense in the country looking for a stand here. I mentioned that number just because it's so impressive for Central early on. If you looked at the team defense, you wouldn't have thought it would be able to come this far. Ball bounces out. They're going to say it's off of Errol White. There is a man down on the far side of the floor. I think there might have been a little contact, and Barron got knocked over. Barron's able to stay on the floor for Coach J.J. Merritt's team. For the past 6 years, one of these 2 programs has won the conference. You're looking at some of the best basketball in Georgia. As we have a timeout called, Highlands heads into their huddle, leading by 3. 1:34 to go in this first overtime period. Thank you all for tuning in. More coverage coming up next. Central Georgia Technical College hosting here in a big one. Playing the number 1 team in the conference, Georgia Highlands, who leads in this overtime. For these 2 teams, it just doesn't matter who goes where, what players do what, or what things are individually. It's these 2 programs, the way they go at it, it's always a battle. Coach Merritt told me before the game that it is an absolute war every time these two teams meet. We have seen that today. Spins out of bounds, Central ball. Central today has been throwing the kitchen sink at Highlands. A lot of what they normally do, but throwing some wrinkles in here and there on that side of the ball. But now they look to their offense. 70 seconds to play. Hickman's got 14 at a big three just 5 minutes ago. Jewett-Spencer going to work in the lane, chucks it up, doesn't get the roll. Offensive board, no. It'll be pulled down. Brown's got it, and Highlands will run into the open floor. Foul called. Both teams in the double bonus. Justin Spencer will send Barron to the free throw line. Brandon Barron is a redshirt freshman guard, one of 3 redshirts officially listed on the Highlands team. Barron's one of their role players. All right as a shooter, decent scorer, but a good ball handler, provides some good depth and leadership at the guard position. A couple of substitutions made. Wilson and Rosser come in. Now you've got both Rossers, Wilson, Barron, and Wright on the floor. So you've got your 4 best players basically, and then you've got Barron in for Kahim Brown. Brown looks like he might be coming back in soon. 35 seconds to play. Central. Hickman drives and kicks. Spencer, 3. Bang! Spencer knocks it down. It's a 1-point game. Huge shot from Justin Spencer. That's his first basket of the game. One-point game. Foul called. Because of some late game threes, Central has struggled from beyond the arc in regulation until the very end when Hickman hit it, and now Spencer knocks down a 3. Scott comes in. Errol White has fouled out. He's committed his 5th. So with Errol White and Montavious Terrell both fouling out after the final mark under 1 minute of regulation. We've got Rosser hitting his first free throw. 13.7 seconds to go. Well, if you ever needed an example, this is a game where you can show exactly why free throws are such a big deal at the end of basketball games and just in them in general. Free throws will likely be the deciding factor between who wins today. 83-80. Hickman. Spencer. Central needs a look from 3. Spencer for the tie. No, that'll do it. Highlands wins in overtime, 83-80. Fantastic performance between these two squads. Coach J.J. Merritt pulls his team out to a win. Standing ovation from the Central crowd as they come off after this defeat. They will likely be the number 5 seed in the GCAA conference. They will play one more game. They'll be against Georgia Highlands. That game will be coming next. It's at Georgia Highlands. That will be on the 23rd on Tuesday in Rome, Georgia. It's at 7 o'clock p.m., so all of you should tune into that. That'll be a big one. That's all here from Macon, Georgia. I'm Luke Winstall. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back with the women's game on Monday for Central.